Hey Virgo, hope you're doing well. We're going to do a short video for the end of the month. I'm just going to dive right in. I have cards that are planets, North Node, South Node. We're going to get an astrological feel for the reading, direction. You have Neptune here. So Neptune being the ruler, the modern ruler of Pisces, which would be your opposite sign. So I feel you'd be very creative by the end of this month, or for the next 2 weeks, right? You might have something in mind that you wish to actually expand on, and it feels like you want to craft something creative. And I say craft because you guys are quite hands-on. You're ruled by Mercury, so you're good at details, minute details. I think you're interested in like really like, how do you say, working at on like the details of things, and like having it there's a particular verb in French, ciseler, and I don't know how to say this in English, but it would be really fitting if I knew the translation. It's sort of like a sculptor, the way they actually work and carve out and create this piece out of something that is quite, I guess, rough, you know what I mean? So it's the work of narrowing down and like beautifying, if you want, something, and it's very creative. It's also very it takes your mind off many of the worries of the world, quote unquote, or things that might distract you. You get really into things. So that's the feelings. Those are the first initial feelings I'm getting for you for the next 2 weeks. Let's see what the tarot says and how it ties in, if it does at all. Okay. I'm probably going to have to draw. I don't know if you get pop-outs. You get more than 3. I will take them. There's 5 cards. Okay. So the King of Wands in reverse to start. This is the, I'm going to show you, it's reverse, but it's the Knight of Cups. The Ace of Cups in reverse. The 8 of Cups. And the Moon. There's the creative aspect of things. We are looking at a lot of love that is being, I'm going to say, spilt, literally spilt. I'm also hearing spent. So there's something about you in a fire sign, most probably because of the King of Wands here. Aries, Leo, Sag, but it doesn't have to be. It's someone commanding. So someone that you feel had a lot of influence on you, not necessarily in a bad way, just a lot of, they had a lot of bearing in your life. So that relationship is something that you are leaving behind here. The love is literally spent. What's amazing for me is that the Moon is here, so there's still so much water, because the Moon has an influence on the waters of the world, right? The tides and the seas. So, you know, you have the King of Wands at the onset, but everything else is basically, for me, water, and you have Neptune here. So there's like, basically, you could have been drowning symbolically within this relationship. You might have been, I'm hearing you were gasping for air. So almost like you didn't have your independence, or you lacked freedom of movement to a degree. And so it's interesting because it's like the love is being spent, so it feels like the waters are out. There's no more water. There's no more love in this equation, this relationship. But at the same time, it's like there's way too much. Like it was the opposite. You were literally like drowning. You had the overflow of the Ace of Cups. The Eight of Cups, you know, is like, it's a desertic landscape in the back. So it's really the idea that everything dried up, and yet the moon comes right after and sort of, it's like Neptune. It's this double, it's like having a double, I'm not sure of the word, like a double message or a double, I guess a double image, like almost superimposed, or that blurs in, you know, like it's a mix of things. And it's the idea of being spent and at the same time being totally overflowed, overwhelmed. The moon also is so I want to go back to the idea that I was describing about you carving and taking a lot of your time to take something that was rough and make it more detailed and more beautiful. I would now say you're doing this to the experience. It's almost like you need to deconstruct the experience, or you need to take all of this water, which would be like this thing that was very, very rough. Basically, that was where you couldn't find yourself, where you couldn't distinguish yourself because it was this magma around you. And I say magma, it's not fire, but I just mean like opacity. And so that's like the rock in the rough before the statue, the sculpture emerges, right? It's the same thing with the water. It's like there's too much water so that you're drowned in there. So it's the same idea. And so the work you're doing is about carving yourself back out. So the desert landscape here is like these rocks are being broken down, and the sand is like the residue from like when you actually carve that rock and all the dust that falls down. It's like what I really like about this reading, Virgo, it's about finding yourself again, you working at yourself or rebuilding yourself, but it's not like you're rebuilding literally. You're just uncovering or revealing yourself, because it was shrouded in all this opacity. Whether it's the rock analogy or the marble, whatever is a hard substance, like whatever stone it was, or the water. Either way, it's the same principle, the same process. So let's look at, these are my makeshift cards, just keywords on blank cards. I have one that flipped and another one that fell. I'm going to keep both. The first one that turned is cercle, is circle. Oh, there's two. And then there's flute and light, lumière. Well, for me, the circle, I mean, it's the Neptune and the moon, all the water. It's sort of telling me what was encircling you, this opacity and all of this water, and like being like in down deep in the ocean and like being totally submerged. And then the two that were like not turned, they came together, and it's a beautiful sound. It's the sound of the flute along with light. So it's the emergence, right? It's you coming out. And for me, it's fascinating that it comes with sound, that it's not just you shining through all of this opacity. It comes in with a beautiful melody, which almost points to something very sacred, something very unique for you. I'm hearing it's like almost like I'm hearing privilege moment, like as in special, as in maybe you work at yourself, maybe you work on your emotions, maybe you work at breaking down everything that was suffocating you by listening to music, or while you're listening to music. Maybe the process of that is helping you. And I'm hearing liberate yourself. So that's very strong here. And Neptune is really one of the planets linked to music. Many famous musicians had a proeminent Neptune placement. Sometimes it's Uranus, but Neptune is also very strong in charts of musicians, because it's the planet of imagination, it's the planet of sounds, it's the planet of everything that is beyond words. That's incredible. It's a big agenda, Virgo, literally. But it's almost like giving birth to yourself, kind of. You know, but I really like that it's of your own doing. So you know exactly where to hit, you know, like when I say where to hit, like if you're the sculptor, like what to remove, you know exactly what needs to come off, what needs to be shed, what needs to be left behind. I hope something resonated. Maybe you'll only really look back in December and realize that this is what's happening at the end of for the rest of November, right? Who knows? So anyways, good night. Thank you for watching the video. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you soon.